Welcome back to Dive Twang. I'm Dave. So, laid back today. I don't know what it's like where you are right now, but it is getting ready, they say, going to be a huge snowstorm. So, kind of got hunkered down for that and thought we just had some time to jump on here and show you a couple little licks and kind of the mood for the day there, right? Laid back. And this is just a G and C, a couple measures of each. Okay, just round like that. That'll be your practice loop. I'm going to get you there pretty soon today, too. Pretty quick, I mean. The couple of principles that I think were important here. If you liked that sound of that intro, that kind of melodic, but really kind of simple triad, a major pentatonic sort of sound of that G. Right, it goes really well with those two major chords like that. And a couple things. There was one move in there that I really want to show you, which was that. Just a way to get from that G to that C that's really nice and, you know, it's rich because it's harmonized and it's really melodic. So we're going to get to that. Let me just show you kind of the basic outline of what's going on here. If you go back to the root on the sixth string, which is always a good way to just get oriented, you know, if we're talking about G, major pentatonic here, you can, you know, track it like that. Okay, and the other thing that you pause it there if you need to, and get that system or that map down. Okay, you don't have to be just like that, but that's just how you can really cover some neck, you know, with that too. Those kinds of moves, cover some octaves really quickly. The other thing that's going on is if we get a couple of extra triad shapes. So we've got, you know, G down here, C, and that rhythm track is recorded in that manner. If we kind of abbreviate some of those, or, you know, get it into some three-string type voicings. That's a good one right there for the G. Okay. Use your ear along with your eyes if you're not sight impaired, or if you're not looking at it, then you're using your ears, right? And your finger memory, your muscle memory. Okay. And pause for just a second so you can really match that sound. Okay. If it's hard to keep all those down at once, you know, if it's a new thing for you, then start by playing them separately like that. So that's a good one for the G. And that's a real nice one for the C. Do something up there, but here. Now, one good thing to practice, depending on, you know, where you're at with all of this, would just be, you know, messing around with those two shapes. And, you know, that's not just the beginning step there. I mean, it is in a way, but you can do a lot of playing. Now, there was something else in there in the middle, right? that we only have two chords in this backing track, G and C. But that, I snuck that in there, didn't I? That's 2 frets down from the G, so it's an F triad. This piece works well if you treat it as the key of C, which if you play those River of C going from G to G, you'll get a flatted 7th for the G. Okay, and again, you can kind of look at that, intellectually, but listen to what that sounds like too. Okay, there's a lot of nice places you can drop that F in there. And in this case, you can make like a passing tone with it, but also like a passing chord. That's G. So you're playing it over the last couple beats of the G. That's also could be called a C sus. Don't worry about the kind of a distinction without a difference there. But what it's really doing is emphasizing that flat 7 of the G. So if we're going, okay, now some of the differences there, some of the little stylized parts of what I just did are just not playing the whole form of those triads, right? So taking that, use your ear along with your eyes. All right, so I'm just playing the notes in those shapes that are on the D and the B string and skipping that G string. I don't like to throw around too many letters at once because it's confusing. But you can play pieces of it. Adjacent strings. Or you can play the outer 2 strings and eliminating that middle one, if we're talking about these 3 strings. Okay? And then you can slide that on your way down to that C, put that F triad in there and really get some good suspended sound and some extra melodic stuff. Everything else that I'm doing here and what I did in that demo is really just staying in that G major pentatonic. There's other stuff you could do here, like we just said. You could play more like a C major system over this, and a G. Which scale is this if I start on G? Okay, I'm not going to answer that one for you. And if you don't, see the question fully, and that's okay. But those of you that do, if we're playing a C major, River of C major, but I start on G, it comes out like that. What's that mode called? What's that scale called? There's our trivia question for this time. So, take a breath. Here's what we've got going so far here. And we're almost done with the instruction part that we've got G major pentatonic. Let me wait for it to come around here. both chords, that's still a G major pentatonic, and just kind of hanging out in different places. Well, right next door, G, C. Right, we talked about that one, but there's a great little lick to do on that C right there. I'm going to turn the track on and show you, then I'll slow it down for you. Check this out. Pretty easy concept here. That time I snuck the F in there, so we didn't want to forget about that. Don't worry about doing it all at once. Watch this a couple times, but your main frame is G to C. So then you're working in that C. Over the C, with that C triad that would be located here, the bar chord. But yeah, there's a little bluesy note in there. Just a little partial bend. Boy, that sounds good, doesn't it, over that? Okay, get a little more ambitious. All right. One could say not the reason why it sounds good, but a fact about it is that that note's the fifth of the C chord. It's also G. It also happens to be the root of our other chord. But so there's a little theory you can try out. What if I play the same lick and just let the chords change behind us? What's that like? Wow, okay. You could play a really good solo in a song with this progression, with those three notes, and doing a little bit of the bending and some of the extra embellishments there. Right? Does that make sense? So this is one where you get a lot of payoff for a little bit of notes, right? But the creative possibilities are endless with this. So when I did that, it's just a way to get from G, right, there's a G. Okay, know where these triads are little by little. Don't try to memorize them all in one night and beat yourself up. Just a little bit at a time, When you run into it again, oh yeah, I remember that now. Work that stuff in. So I'm going... Okay, you could separate the strings out on either one of those. No, that didn't sound bad, but that wasn't what we wanted right there. For this particular piece, right? So slowly. Okay, now you do a little sliding in. bit of stuff in between there. Before you know it, you really got some stylized stuff going through. All right. Watch this a couple times if you need to, right? I didn't break everything down and talk about it a whole lot. There at the end, I put together those 3 or 4 things that I think are really what this lesson's about. You do you with your version of those 3 or 4 things, work that into a simple progression like this. That could take you far. Let me know how you do with it. Talk to you soon.